Hi, Armando Roman, CEO of AXIOM Founders Family Office in Scottsdale. We're a multifamily office and wealth management firm here in Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm going to go through what our formula is because it'll help give a better sense of what we do, but really in the context of how we help you. And the way we help you is much broader than you might expect. So our wealth management formula is all about investment consulting plus advanced planning plus relationship management. Let me talk about advanced planning. Advanced planning has several components. A big part of that is taxes. If you do nothing, you will pay a lot of taxes. So if you do planning appropriately with the right people, you can certainly minimize that tax bite while you're making income now, and also when those estate taxes come in later down the road. So it's about taxes, it's about debt management, and about cash flow. The next component of our formula is wealth protection. How do you protect your overall net worth? You have a business worth significant money. So you protect your overall net worth by having the right types of business entities in place, having the right types of trusts, and having the right types of insurance on everything in the business and on the personal side as well. And then what about wealth transfer? When you think about wealth transfer, you can do that in many ways at different times. But for you, when does it make sense for you to transfer your wealth to the next generation or to whomever you choose? And the next piece of the formula is all about charitable giving. You want to have a positive impact on your family and on the community. And there are different ways that you can have that impact beyond your family that involve charitable strategies that can give you a tax benefit, that can give you a means to engage the next generation in your charitable giving and help them understand what's important to you so that they can carry on what you have already begun. Continuing in our formula is relationship management. And in relationship management, this is all about you. It's all about your values. What is of value to you? You have values and principles that you lived by. And when you get to the end of days, you want to look back on your life and feel good that you have lived by those values and that you've helped to perpetuate that even when you're gone. And then goals. What are your goals? What goals do you want to accomplish as you look down the road? And then relationships. This is so important. You've got people who you love and care about. And how are you going to take care of them? And when are you going to take care of them? It's important that we don't lose sight of those people who you love and care about in the planning process. And then what about your assets? The most significant asset is most likely that business that you founded so long ago. That's very normal for founders and business owners alike, that the majority of your wealth is in that company. So is it registered the way it needs to be, titled correctly? Is everything buttoned up so that you can protect those assets and not lose track of them somehow, some way? And then what about advisors? Are you working with the right advisors? You've got, of course, typically a tax CPA, a business lawyer, an estate lawyer, and all these others as well. If you were to go shopping today to look for your advisory team, would you pick those same people? Or is it, as we often see, that you may have picked somebody 20 years ago, but if you look at your situation today versus 20 years ago, your situation is completely different. So is it possible that one or two of those advisors may not be the right people anymore? Maybe you've outgrown them. And then what about processes? What processes do you like to follow? How do you want to communicate? How often do you want to communicate with people? And then interests. What are your interests? What do you like to do when you aren't working? So with all of that information, we build what's called a total client profile. And that total client profile drives all of the planning for you. It drives everything. The next piece of the formula is professional network relationship management. We have an entire team and a professional network of people with different expertise that comes to play, where we vet them to bring them on board as a part of our professional network. And then we're constantly vetting them, making sure they are in fact the right people, so that when you need the expert in X, Y, or Z, we've got that person available and we can bring them in so that you get what you need at that time. So that is our wealth management formula. We also have an event called the Scottsdale Founders Forum. And we started that because the need was there that people going through an exit, as you think about your own exit from your business, it's a whole different mindset. It's a whole new project that really takes time and planning to make it successful. You don't decide overnight that you're going to sell and then you sell. You've got to plan ahead and get that company in the best shape possible so that you can get the best outcome for you, whether that means the best price, whether that means the best CEO that you hire, whether that means you leave that company in the best shape as you transition that to your next generation. So that's what the Scottsdale Founders Forum is all about. We also have the Founders Guidepost. The podcast, we started that so that we get the best of the best on our podcast, and we have conversations with them so that you can learn to have a more successful business. And whether that person who we're speaking with is all about corporate growth, all about governance, all about human resources, whatever it might be, or if it's an investment banker talking purely about exit, what does exit look like? When do you sell? How do you maximize that value? Maybe it's an attorney who that is all he or she does as well. But that's what the Founders Guidepost is there for, is to give you resources so that you can learn more and have more success as you continue navigating your business. So that's what we do. And that is the totality of how we look at you. Again, we're a wealth management firm in Scottsdale and a multifamily office. And you might hear stories sometimes about the super rich and about what they call stress testing. I'll mention that also. People who have, say, $500 million or more in overall family net worth, they have their own full-time family office people. They've got a full-time lawyer, a full-time CFO, CPA on board, and those full-time staff are there dedicated just for their families. That's what these people do. Well, most people can't really afford that. Most people are not the super rich. But by having a vetted professional network and having the right team on board, you can also have your own stress test so that if there are any gaps in your picture, those can be addressed before anything ugly happens, like an unjust lawsuit that costs you some of that time and money that you've spent building that overall net worth that you have. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any questions, call me, 480-367-9000. Armando Roman, CEO of AXIOM Founders Family Office.